Hello, I'm Stephen Cooley, and thanks for tuning in today. I'm very excited to have one of our top agents, Landon Albrick, on the show today. Landon, you've been on the show lots of times giving expert real estate advice.
Thanks so much for having me back.
And thank you for taking great care of our clients and customers. We're always talking about on the show how important it is to own your home. Right now with low interest rates, you can own so much cheaper than renting. It's a huge wealth builder, and normally we're talking about your primary residence. Today I want to talk about owning investment property because it is a huge wealth builder. I want to touch on a couple of pointers on why people should own investment property.
Absolutely. So investment property, after you've already purchased your primary residence, is, like you said, a huge wealth builder. And today with low interest rates, it's never been a better time to get into the investment property game.
Absolutely. I've always loved investing in real estate because number one, I can ride by it, I can see it, I can check on it, and that's hard to do with stocks and bonds and Bitcoins and things like that. Number two is always invest in something you understand. And most of us have rented before, and most of us, if we're going to buy investment property, we've owned a home before.
Absolutely.
And really that's the basis of understanding owning rental property. You've been a tenant probably somewhere in your life, in college or right out of college, and you owned a home.
Yeah.
And so both those things are easy to do. The other thing I love is there's no chance real estate's going to drop to zero, and stocks can, especially young companies and things like that. So real estate's a safe bet. It's also a tax savings, and there's big encouragement in the tax plans and stuff to own real estate. So just to let everybody know that.
Absolutely. Like you said, a stock can drop to zero at once, and a piece of property, no matter if the values fluctuate, it's always sitting right there on that piece of land that you purchased.
Absolutely. And a great way, there's many ways to start owning real estate as investment properties. The great way to do it, one of the great ways to do it, is your first home that you buy in mind that you want to turn it into a rental. You got to stay there a year to get the benefits of it being a single family residential home for you, but you only have to stay there a year.
Absolutely.
And then you can rent that home, but you need to go into that purchase looking for a future rental and maybe not your ideal first home.
Absolutely. And piggybacking on that, what you can do is you can buy 1, 2, 3, or 4 units on the same parcel with a primary residence loan.
Absolutely. And over my 32 years, I've helped thousands of people buy investment property. I've been an investment property buyer myself. The very first home I bought near Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina, I bought it, I owned it. I bought it when my daughter was born. I owned it for 18 years, and the tenants paid it off. I did not sell the property and pay taxes on selling it. I refinanced that property that had doubled in value, took all the money out of the property, funded a college plan, wrote that money off on my taxes, because you can on college plans, and that one rental property paid for her entire college. And now that's been 10 years. That property's been paid off again by tenants, and I've sold it and got all the money. So that one property paid us twice, and so that's what rental property can do. And I know you've helped hundreds of people find rental property, and you invest yourself.
Absolutely.
And so you've bought properties in different places. You've recently bought something near Winthrop with 3 rentals on that property.
Absolutely.
And right now with low interest rates, they pay for themselves and they make you money.
And your payment has decreased with interest rates, but rents have not decreased. They've actually been increasing.
I've seen this very successfully work, Landon, for people not going out and buying 300 properties, but maybe owning
starting small.
2 to 5 rental properties their entire life. They've bought them when they're young, and those rental properties pay for their kids' colleges, they fund weddings, and they fund retirement plans.
Which is huge.
And renters have paid the mortgages on those. Right now, rent is high, and due to low interest rates, house payments are extremely low, including on rental property.
Yes, they are.
And again, if you follow the first step that we mentioned, you get the owner-occupied rate because you live there
which is lower than the investment property rate.
I've got a friend who's moved 5 times, bought 5 residences that he lived in for over a year, and that's how he acquired those with FHA loans.
Very little down too.
Very little down. If people are looking to invest in rental property, here's a few pointers that I recommend. number one, buy them on your beaten path.
Yeah.
And tell people why.
Definitely. You definitely want to buy a property that's not too far away so that you can drive by on the way to the store or on the way home. Because if it's far away, you really don't know what's going on with the property, and there could be huge damage costs if you're not keeping an eye on it.
Absolutely. Number two, buy a toolbox or have a good friend that has one.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to overpay for maintenance because that can be a huge expense that eats up all your profits.
Absolutely. I had a friend, the tenants had a toilet that was running. He went by and replaced all the mechanics in the toilet for $12. And then another friend spent $400 on a plumber because he didn't know how to do those basics. If you don't know how to do those basics, you could learn if you're going to be a landlord, or again, find a very economical repair person, someone in your family or a good buddy, and that kind of thing. Number three is look at long-term leases.
Yep.
Look for someone, it really matters. I had a rental property that one wonderful lady lived in for 13 years.
Yeah.
And that made all the difference in the world. Instead of replacing carpet and painting 13 times, which you have to do every time a tenant moves out.
Yeah, having somebody in there for a long period of time, even if you don't increase your rent as much as you would with a new tenant, really just saves you in the long run.
Absolutely. The next tip is understand the basic landlord-tenant rights in the state. We cover North and South Carolina that you live in. Tenants have rights.
Absolutely.
And they have occupied rights and some not ownership rights, but they have rights to that property when you sign that lease. And so you need to understand what rights they have. You can, as a landlord, you just can't enter that property or walk on that property.
Yeah,
you're trespassing. The next thing is get a really good lease contract and consider possibly hiring a property management company that specializes in that area. If you really don't understand how to check people's credit, and you don't understand tenant landlord rights and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that can really save you some time hiring a good property manager.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for that first home that you're going to turn into a rental property one day, or if you're looking for rental property throughout our area, I want you to reach out to Landon. Not only has he helped lots of clients find rental property, investment property, he also is an owner of investment property himself. Landon, tell folks how to get a hold of you if they want to buy their primary home or investment property.
Absolutely. My direct line is 803-818-1895.